Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates, and I'm here for half an hour of gentle standing, seated, lying down exercise, and we can mix it all up. So if you want to sit throughout, if you want to lie down throughout, you could do that. You can be using a chair, you could be using a bed, take the duvet off, we could be using the mat. I hope you've had a good week. The clocks have changed, so it looks brighter in here than it is because I've got lots of lights on that you can't see, but it's actually a dimmer light. We're in that sort of dimpsy sort of time. So it just changes the energy a little bit. We're going to start with our feet a little wider, whether you're standing or seated. We'll start with the hands together, and we're going to push up and circle round. And as you do that, your body's probably going to want to respond to those arms sort of coming up and moving outwards. So that usually means a little rock back. That's it. I don't know what it is with the clocks changing, but it always changes, just changes all your sort of regular energy. And maybe if you live with pets, cats or dogs, it can changes all their meal times. So they're sort of already at different times. It takes a while to settle. And then we can reverse this. Oh, just watch for anything at the side. Just caught the side of our chest of drawers. And keep your breath going, breathing in and out. Nothing fancy, just breathing. That's it. One more like that. You can see me rocking a little with this. My back stays straight. And then bring your hands down and your feet facing forward. So if you're in a chair or on the edge of your bed, your feet are about 2 fists apart. So your feet can really grind down into the ground. So make sure you're on a chair where if you've got shorter legs, you know that's comfortable for you. You can really reach the ground. Have a little press down. And if you're standing, just check your feet are pointing forwards about book distance apart, and just give your feet a little press down on each side. Just feel the back of your legs respond to that. They tighten. You might feel your bum muscles tighten a little bit. And then we're going to grow tall or stand tall. If you're standing, some softness in the knees. And we're going to go into a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to put my hand on my belly, my hand on my low back. I'm going to take a breath in. And as I breathe out, I'm going to pull my belly back towards me. It's like my bottom is sort of rotating back like a wheel, and then it's going to rotate forwards, back and forwards. Now there's not much to see here. You can see a little change in my jumper here, but if I show you from the side, you can see that version. And if I show you from standing, you can see my jumper just dipping down. I'm just going to come into the chat here. Oh, hi Irene, nice to have you here. I can't see all your comments as usual at the moment. There's some technical issues that our virtual village hall really trying to get to the bottom of. So it's a bit more difficult to know who's here. So do comment. I'm getting the messages through. It just takes a bit longer and I always check afterwards. So I hope if you're a regular here and you come each week, hi. If you're a newbie, hello. You're very welcome. Let's make this the last one. And then give everything a little shake to the side. Shake your booty around in the chair. It's like a little wiggle, or on the edge of your bed. And give your shoulders a little wiggle, a little shimmy at the top, across the collarbone. That's it. And then we're going to just take our head slightly back. It's like you've just seen someone you really want to see. It's a nice surprise. And you can feel the extra chins come out. Just dip your face very slightly, dip your chin. You feel those little extra ones over there, and we'll turn our heads. And then we'll look to the side, look up, and then float the chin right over the collarbone, look to the other side, going to look up and breathe in. And as you breathe out, let your chin to chin just skim over your collarbone. Breathing in as we look up again. Breathing out as we skim over. And one more. And then back to the center. And we'll do one shoulder and then the other. And let your body respond and move. So this is our sort of mindfulness focus today almost. When you move one thing, sometimes it sets off a natural movement elsewhere. Sometimes you want to stay still and just isolate a movement. But on this warm-up, we're just letting things respond. So by doing one shoulder, it just naturally means that your ribs want to turn a little bit. So let them. See who else we've got in today. Jean is here as well. Jackie's here. Lovely to have you. I just can't see the comments in the usual way, but they're coming through. Andrea from Virtual Village Hall is being brilliant. She's sort of typing away and making sure she's like our sort of little in-betweener. That's it. Maybe a forwards one as well. And then we're going to keep our hands to the side, arms to the side. They're either at the side of your legs, or if you're in the chair, the side of your chair. Grow tall as you can. This is the point we're going to come back to. And then feel down the side of your leg or the back of your chair or the side edge of your chair, and then bring yourself up tall. And as you go over, we're going to the same side. You don't need to go very far, but you need to keep either your sitting bones, your bumpy bits of your bum, or your feet pressing down equally, so it doesn't feel like that's happening. I have to almost press this side more to stop it, because that's the side that wants to go over. And exhale as you go over, and an inhale as you come up can be nice. And then we're going over the other way. That's it. Last one. And then we're going to get into arm floats. So I'll do this from a seated position. Going to float one arm, palm is facing inwards, soft bend, and then push away. So you can see the shape of my arms like a soft curve, and then I turn my hand and it's like there's a whole queue of people. I don't want to see any of them. In fact, I could even turn my head. I like that. So it's like, no, I'm busy. It's my time. And another one on that side. Now I'm going to stand for the next one because I think I'm going to push into the plant if I do that one seated. So I take a breath in at this point, and then see my hands coming back towards me. That can feel like a nice stretch. Sometimes it can feel a little tight, and if it did, that's how my hand would be. It wouldn't come back towards me as much. So if I come in a little closer, you can see it could be like this. That's pretty tight for me coming up here and under the wrist. That would be less close, just giving you a bit more space. You can even take the arm slightly behind if it's comfortable. Now do both arms. Push all the people away, like people knocking at your door, people that you're too busy to see at the moment, or you want a bit of quiet and a bit of calm. It could be noise and you want to push that away, and one more. And then we're going to go into our feet. So we give our toes a wiggle up and down. You can just about hear the sound of mine. We're going to rock forwards and backwards on the chair, on your feet. Just feel a little bit of movement in the feet. It's a little bit like you're on a rocking chair. And you can definitely hold on to something if this makes you feel wobbly and threatens your balance a little bit too much. And then we're going to circle a foot, just keeping the front of the foot on the floor. And then the other side. Oh, that's my clicky side. And then we're going to lift the foot. So you might need to hold on to something. I'm going to put my arms out for balancing. And then I'm going to give the ankle a bit more freedom to move around in different directions. So do what you can. It might just be you can go forwards and backwards and a little side to side. If that's what you've got, you want to keep it. If you can make it go in arcs or circles as well, add that in. And listen to your own body percussion, the little clicks, the snap, but crackle and pop. And then we're going to swap to the other side. So just maybe a little shimmy in the middle. And then off we go. That's it. And then take that down. And then we're going to just take the arms out a little bit. And as you do that, that movement you can see on my shoulders is coming from my shoulder blades. I'm just like I'm getting them to draw circles. And then I'm going to take it back. You can imagine them just pressing against your t-shirt or your jumper. It's not a big movement. Ooh, a little shake out, a little shimmy. Right, now, bring your arms in by your side. Palms are upwards. Your hands can be relaxed or you can stretch your fingers out, whichever is comfortable. And you're either sitting on your chair or you're standing, your feet are forwards. This is all going to be in the upper body. So let one side move out to the side. Now, this is an isolating movement. This is, instead of the body responding to this and sort of turning, I'd like you to stay facing forwards and just that lower arm turns outwards. I mean, this arm is turning outwards, but it's snug into you. That's it. You want to feel that elbow nestling into you at the side. And I think of like offering a snack to somebody. Here's my little plate of treats. Would you like one? Here's my little plate of treats. And now do both sides. If one side wants to go a little bit and the other side wants to go a lot, listen to what they want. That's it. And then we can offer one way and the other, maybe both at the same time. That's it. And then let your arms go. Just let them swing forwards and backwards. They can go together. They can go alternately. You can see your body will want to have a little twist then. And then a little bit more for our feet. We're just going to take the heels up and down this time. So press your feet right down. If you're seated, I'll bring your legs really close to touch each other if you can. I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to go up and down. See, my arms have gone out for balance. I want to go a lot less than you normally do. So you might have minimal movement. It was almost like a little rocking. You might be able to go enough for it to be like a little tiny kitten heel. And we're just going to do little ones like that and then slowly down. And if you're seated, stick the legs together so you've got one leg. Now, holding onto the chair sides or holding onto the bed, press into each other. Press your thighs, knees, calves together, ankles and feet together as you go up and down. You need to stay sort of growing tall because you can feel your core kicking in on this one. That's it. Lovely. And then let your legs just have either a little kick out or a little side to side, a bit more space. And then we're going to sit on the front of the chair. We're going to do a little side step. So if you're seated, I would hold on to the chair a little bit with this because otherwise you're moving your weight one way and the gravity, and you don't want to fall off your chair. So side step, and let your body move over a little bit with the leg. And if you're standing, we can side step, standing up. I'm doing 2, or you could send your hips back and then we could get a bit lower and you could put your hands on your chest. Now, if you're seated, I can give you a variation for this as well. I'll show you from the side as well. My back is flat. I'm not especially low. My bum is back. See, my legs are bent a little bit. If you're doing this here, you can take your hands to your legs and use that and step your feet across one way and the other. It's like you're almost going around in a little arc. It's giving you that sideways lateral movement. That's it. And 1 or 2 more. It's like Space Invaders, these ones. Sometimes I do these when I teach with the band tied around the legs. Always fun. And then come to upright, shake it off. Start swinging the arms backwards and forwards. You can keep it with this. You can start leaning back as the arms come up. And you can let your hips respond. You can see how they naturally want to. So your bum goes back, your hips go back. You might bend your legs a little. You can imagine that you're out somewhere with loads of leaves and you're just lifting them all up. You can scoop them up and throw them around if that feels nice. Or just keep the arms going forwards and backwards and in the chair. Exactly the same edge of the chair. Wider legs is nice. So I'm just going to get my rhythm. That's the one. Now, if that feels a bit much, just use your hands and arms as brakes. and don't go as far. So just like this, or taking your arms up and down. So for osteoporosis, for example, if you've had a spinal fracture, this is a nice place to be. Lifting your arms up. You might go very slightly forwards and back if that feels comfortable, but it would be small. Or you could come a little forwards with your arms and then come upwards. And your arms are just helping support your spine. Last one of whatever version you're doing. And then if you're going to come down to a lying down position, this is the time. So I'm going to come to a lying down position. But I'll show you alternatives from my sofa bed. So if you're seated, get yourself super comfy on your chair. If you're lying down, just grabbing my drink whilst we're here. Right, and we're going to start just getting our breath steady, getting our body position comfortable if you've just moved. So if you're lying down, give yourself time. You don't have to be down at the same time as me. You could take your time, take longer. I'm just having a little side to side wriggle. I'm checking that my head is comfortable and my gaze is up towards the ceiling. Feet are on the floor. And if you're sitting in a chair, you can sit right at the back of your chair if that's comfortable for you and your feet still touch the floor. The other thing you could do if you've got shorter legs is to put a cushion underneath your feet, just to raise the ground a little for you so your legs aren't swinging and they're not touching the floor at all, because you want to be able to feel the ground in this one. Right, and for all of us, I want us to have our hands on our low belly. We're going to breathe in. It's not a deep breath, but we are going to try and get it up here, all into the chest and the side and the back. So you might feel your back sort of spreading it against your mat or the bed. You might feel it spreading against your chair back. You might feel your ribs coming out to the side. It's this outward breath rather than an up and down chesty breath. So you don't want the breath going up here with your shoulders up and down. We're going out to the side. So get that going. Next time you breathe out, we're going to do a pelvic tilt. It's like your belly is tilting towards you. And now as you breathe in, your belly goes the other way. It's going towards your thighs. As you breathe out, you can see with my hands, it's like it's scooping towards my ribs. And then as I breathe in, it's going the other way. So I'm sort of just showing the direction with the hands. And you might feel your back pressing against something as you pull back, or you might not. There might still be a space. It depends on the shape of your back. Don't worry, you're not doing it wrong. It's just whatever shape you've got. If you've got a very sway back, so it's got a lot of inner curve, you often can't completely straighten that and pull it back. And that's okay. You're just trying to get movement into the lumbar, the low bit of your spine. And then have a little side to side wriggle. Right, next we're going to go for, a little pelvic circle. So if you are lying down, this circle is like having a plate resting on your belly and you're just taking a marble right round the edges. If you are sitting upwards, it's like you've got a clock face against you, against your belly here. And there's a marble and you're taking it right around the edge of the clock face. It's harder to imagine seated. I'm just giving you all the wriggles. Now change that circular direction. It's almost like you're on a spin cycle here, like a washing machine. Maybe that's not as nice an image. That's it. Now the next position we're going to go into, where are we going next? Yes, is a little resist position. So I'll show you in the seated position. Place a hand on one leg, the other hand can rest or it can go on the same leg. We're going to take a breath in. I'm going to use that rib, side and back breath, a little bit at the front. And as you breathe out, you're going to push down with your hands and resist with your thigh, like your thigh is trying to lift up, doesn't leave the foot doesn't leave the floor, but you can feel the effort. So you're resisting yourself. And then let it go. 2 more times like that. If you are lying down, you come to a tabletop, hands against the thigh. And now it's like you're trying to bring your knee right in. It's not going to go that far. And you're trying to push your leg away, but nothing happens. You're just resisting yourself. Please breathe when you can. And then let go. And we're going for about 3 each side. Quite short ones. We're not going to hold it too long. And then lengthen that leg away and just give it a shake out. It might have a little kick away. If you're seated, I like this foot having a big wave and my legs sort of going from side to side if I'm lying down. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. So bring the leg up, find that point on your thigh when you're going to resist. And then it's like you're trying to push into your chest and then release. You can also let the calf drop. If it's been difficult to keep that there, as long as this thigh is vertical, you can let that drop and you can just resist like that. You can see as I try and resist, my foot really wants to kick out. That's it. And then let that leg release, let it wave. And then either taking your arms outwards if you're lying down or holding onto the sides of your chair. Legs are bent and apart, so you're just in that sort of L shape. Just let them have a little sway side to side. Now we're going to take our arms back down, either by our sides or holding underneath the chair seat. And we're going to bring one leg up and the other leg up. One leg down and the other leg down. And just keep going with that if you're lying down. If you're seated, it's not going to be as dramatic as that because your legs are already in this bent position. So it's more like a heel raise. You might float slightly off the floor, a bit like a prancing sort of position with your long feet and your toes just leaving the floor. That's it. Now, if that's feeling okay, you can do something different with your arms. You can bring them to your chest. And this is the same lying down. You just move your arms to the chest. It just means you've got to control yourself in the center so you don't sort of move around. And I want just the legs moving, not the body on this one. So we're isolating just the legs. Try not to wobble from side to side. That's it. Going to come downwards again. And this is transferring the legs in the air, so they're doing a little scissoring, like a toe tap. You can even do it so that there's always a movement. You're not really pausing. That's it. And then legs down, arms out or holding the chair. You may want your legs to go long and give your ankles a circle. You may want to stretch one out and then the other. That's it. And then something for the arms. So we'll have the arms out in a T shape for everybody. So if you're seated or on the floor. Now on the floor, you've got the floor supporting you. When you're seated, you haven't. So you're just in the air. We're going to move them up and down, a bit like wings. Now, if you are seated, keep them a soft shape. If you are lying down, you can have them longer and just resting against the floor. And it's a bit like, I've seen children do snow angels when it snows and they've got the coats on and everything. They just lie down in the snow and make a sort of snow angel silhouette. You're just seeing what it's like for your arms to go up, how far they want to go, down. I'm just going to show you the seated position. It's like wings. So you could keep it a little smaller. That's my arms bent, my palms are facing you. You could really stretch outwards. You might come all the way up to the ears. Lovely. You could even go one and then the other. And then take the arms down. So they're down by your side in seated and lying down position. And just give your shoulders a shrug with an inhale. And as you exhale, let them melt down. And turn your head from one side to the other. Going to repeat that. Shrug, shoulders up with a breath in. Exhale, let them melt down and turn your head one way and the other. We're going to go one more time. Shrug with the inhale. Melt down with the exhale. And turn your head one way and the other. Well done. Now, if you're lying down, we're going to go onto our front if you're comfortable to do that. If you are seated, I'd like you to come to the edge of your chair or your bed. I'd like you to take your arms sort of somewhere so your hands around where your ears are. Going to concentrate on not changing the shape of your back and just pulling your arms down by your sides. They're like a W shape. And if I show you from the side, the hands are as in line with the sides of your face. They might go forwards a little bit. You're just trying to get them as in line as you can. And you're pulling down. If you are lying on the ground, long legs, active legs, so if someone came and give them a little prod, they feel firm. You might want a cushion underneath your head, and ideally your hands sort of under your shoulders-ish. You can see mine are not completely, it's not comfortable for us, so close-ish. And if it needs to be wider, make it wider. If it needs to go downwards, it's fine. So we'll have our arms down. We're going to keep our legs long. You can even tilt your bum downwards just a little bit, like a little mini pelvic tilt. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your forehead, a little bit of your chest, and you're looking downwards. And then take it down. Breath in. And on your exhale, up you come. Now you're not pressing into your arms. We're just going to use our back for this. So you need some tension in the legs. And it's almost like your belly feels like it's resting on something cold and you're pulling back away from it. Little shoulder roll. I can feel getting stiff in those bits. They're coming up towards my ears. And then let everything go. So take your arms into a comfortable place. Wiggle your bum around in the seat, on the ground. And then we're going to make a long line. So if you're seated, it's arms down by your sides and it's like you're reaching down towards your feet. If you are lying on the floor, arms down by your sides. And then we're going to make a long line, just sliding our arms down and then letting them just flop. And then sliding them down, making our legs super long and letting them flop. If you're seated, you're sliding them downwards and then just soften. Slide them down like you're trying to touch your tips of your fingers to the floor and then soften. And we'll go for one more. Sliding them down and then soften. And then something just a bit slinky, a bit wider, a softer movement. I'm doing this sort of infinity shape, like that figure eight, swirly sort of shape. That's it. And then stay in that position you're in. If you're seated, hopefully you haven't got something to crash into here. What we could do is go into an L-shaped arm. That would be better. So if you're seated in L-shaped arm with the upper arms right by your sides, and I want you to pull the points of your elbows backwards. If you're lying down on the floor, arms down by your sides again, just like before. But this time we're going to slide upwards. Your little fingers leading the way. Legs are long, energized, so they're not flopping like that. They're straight. There's tension in the muscles. Now, if it feels like you want to lift your head and chest, you can. And you're a dart flying through the air, so it's a pretty straight sort of shape. You can even bring more tension to your legs. It feels like they're leaving the floor slightly. And you might lift your arms higher. And then take your arms down, take your legs wide, give everything a shimmy from side to side. We're going to come up to seated. So you could roll onto your back first. You could push back towards your heels, have a little wiggle there, and then take yourself to a seated position, either on your mat or your mattress, or on the edge of your chair or your bed. That's it. We're not going to do anything with the legs. They've just had lots of tension in them for the positions we've been in. But we'll put our hands on our chest. And just a small rotation. We're just warming down to finish. So just a little rotation. And then we're going to take one elbow, let the body respond, let it twist with that gentle turn. You can see I'm using my hand just holding onto my legs. It feels like quite a nice resistance. That's it. And you're done. Let's take our palms out to the sides. Scoop up the air. Bring your palms together into your chest. Well done. I'll be here again next week. Looking forward to seeing you all again. And keep commenting. It keeps coming back to me. I will try and reply if the comments are showing. But yeah, Andrea's telling me who's here. It's so nice to have you here. See you again next week. Bye.